Hey everyone, welcome to the Power Hour of Love. I'm Charboil and this is
El Bandito.
Oh yeah, Bandito. I gotta tell you, man, what a wild week it's been, and man, what a wild weekend. We're talking about Memorial Day weekend, man.
Absolutely, dude. You could tell we might have had a little too much meat to eat today, man. Holy cow. Memorial Day is kind of the kickoff to summer a lot of the times. A lot of people like to have some barbecuing with this extra 3-day weekend out here, and we certainly did. We certainly had some fun. We hope all you beautiful people out there had some fun as well. But we're glad to be out here Memorial Day evening to rock out, have some Power Hour love, spread some love, get you guys hyped up for getting back to work tomorrow and getting on with the rest of the week. J-Dog, Life Reboot, we see you guys out there in the chat.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. We did have a great day. How did your guys' day, how'd your weekends go, man? Like I said, we had a lot of fun, went to a couple of holiday parties, and we ended up barbecuing today, and I ate probably the biggest steak I've had in a long time. Like an 18 or 20 ounce steak, dude. It was sick.
Oh, you know it, man. I thought it was like, I thought I was going for like the protein World Cup here, man. I got, had some burgers, had some hot dogs, had some ribs, had some kielbasa, had a lot of other good stuff too. had a little bit of sangria too, which is a little woohoo.
Well, hey, sounds like a ton of fun. Look at that. Rich joining us tonight. Did something happen to our compression codec? No, I don't believe so. We've been doing the same thing that we always been doing. So maybe the internet's just being a little kinder. The internet gods have blessed us today. So welcome and thank you for joining us, my man. I appreciate it. Throw some love out there for Rich coming in with that compression codecs making life good. But tonight, like we said, we're talking about Memorial Day. Like it says down in the description below, we're going to be honoring some of the most memorable characters that died in video games. Of course, these are our selections of characters that meant the most to us during their passing, and we figured no better time to address that than on Memorial Day, on a day when we're already celebrating the loss of fallen heroes throughout the country and throughout the world. So first and foremost, a big shout out and a big thank you to all the servicemen and women out there, and especially to those who've made the ultimate sacrifice in service to others. There's no greater service you can give than that. So
you know it, man. Like you said, every day, it just doesn't stop. There's always someone out there doing something, and it's just unfortunate that, some of them, like you said, do give their lives for this, and that's why we have this day to honor those folks, and definitely we really just love you guys for doing what you do.
Absolutely, man. We're going to throw some love out there. And, with that, thank you all for joining us. We're certainly not trying to make light of the day or anything like that. But, again, we're going to take in a little bit of a different direction so we can still have a fun and engaging show. And we're going to talk about some memorable video game characters who also made the ultimate sacrifice. So that's right. Tonight, the Power Hour of Love's in memoriam fallen game characters.
Absolutely. Like El Bandito said, we're not trying to make light on the day, but we figured, hey, why not, go down that road too and say, hey, remember these guys over here? And by the way, of course, if you guys have someone that we didn't talk about, feel free to throw that down in the comments and we could chat about them a little too. But also, we're going to be talking about this the whole show, so they might be a little further down the line too.
Absolutely, guys. But yeah, if you've got a video game character that you fondly remember, or it really shook you when that character disappeared, feel free to throw it down in the chat. But again, we're going to be counting down our top 8 tonight, starting off with the Joker in Arkham City.
Oh, yeah, man. Like we said, as much as like we did say it was going to be the fallen heroes, there's also some villains out there that are going to get a little bit of love on this list. But like I said, man, this was Arkham City 2011. I can't believe it's been that long since Arkham City released.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, it seems like only yesterday, but this was such a great game, so huge, such a big expansion on the original Arkham Asylum, and it really had a huge impact. You know, like the game that came after it,
Origins.
Yeah, that was not the kind of bold move that Arkham City was. Arkham City was just doubled down on everything that was in Arkham Asylum, story-wise as well. Because I believe, like you pointed out, that like the Arkham Asylum has a pretty lackluster finish with the weird kind of Titan Joker fight and all of that.
Yeah,
you know. But the way they carried that story into him having this disease, him and Harley trying to conceive children and they can't, and then him ultimately getting sicker and sicker, and then trying to poison Batman. I mean, there's just so much going on. It's such a rich story, and it ends in a fashion that you kind of don't expect. Even though it's not the first time we've seen an iteration of the Joker getting killed in comics, this was definitely one that I think no one expected, especially because so many of the voice actors in the game were the voice actors from the Batman animated series.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, although this was a more serious take on it, like that really threw me for a loop when it came to the end of the game.
Absolutely, man. And by no means are we saying that Arkham Asylum was a bad game.
No.
You know, that was an awesome game. It
Yes.
really was the first game that you felt like you were the Batman.
Yes.
But yeah, like you said, all the stuff that built up to that final fight where you fought like, you know, massive, you know, Titan Joker, and then that kind of finishing was kind of like, oh man, I kind of was expecting a little more than that. But man, like you said, this kind of took that whole storyline and running, and then also opened up the world, you know, where you weren't just confined to Arkham, like you were able to actually go around parts of Gotham City.
Yeah.
Which to me, I was like, oh man, you know, I loved when you'd get to scan certain areas and there were things from the comics like Crime Alley, and it would tell kind of like a little story about them. Like that was just so cool.
No, absolutely, man. When you're hunting Hush and you're going through all these different crime scenes and stuff, learning more and more about his past and his character and stuff, really great additions to the to the game, and really fleshing out the whole world, you know. But getting back to the task at hand here, the Joker falling at the end of the game has such a powerful cutscene at the end of it. It's so dramatic. It's a sort of an iconic. It's the most copied pose in comic book cover history. You know, the person carrying someone else in their arms, you know, and Batman walking the Joker out like that after trying desperately to save him, you know, and just not being able to, was really just a pretty, like, awesome take on it, you know?
Oh yeah, man. You have all the police officers there and Jim Gordon, and they're kind of just watching him walk past carrying the Joker, and it's just like, whew, man, like it just hits you. Like you said, he's obviously his greatest villain, but man, like we say, there's always that whole thing of, you know, without Batman, the Joker, you know, like they're kind of like one and the same, but not, you know, it's like you gotta have one, you gotta have the other, you know. But yeah, what a scene. And of course, this game definitely delivered an awesome fight scene, or awesome fight battle at the end of the game, where you took on Clayface, which once again was a massive guy to be fighting, but it was Clayface, so it's kind of like that made sense. It went with the story, but definitely the Joker, and it was actually billed as Mark Hamill's final time to voice the Joker. You know, like I remember even before the game came out, so you had a feeling something was going to happen, but still you didn't think they were going to ice him at the end of the game. Very powerful.
Luckily, though, we did get Mark Hamill's return in Arkham Knight later, and kind of playing like the intro to that, where they're cremating the Joker and everything. Like that's very moving in and of itself. But him kind of reprising this role as a sort of psychosis that Batman has, constantly hearing the Joker in his own head, was pretty fantastic writing, you know, just all the way around.
Yes, the whole thing with the fear gas, and that actually gave him the ability to come back, in a sense, and actually appear in just random places. What's really funny is I remember hearing that was actually going to be a movie at one point, that someone was like, the villain was going to be the Scarecrow, and then they were going to have Jack Nicholson return as the Joker. I mean, this is going back to, like, you know, the early 2000s. But it's kind of cool that someone eventually took that concept and, like, put it in, and it worked so well.
No doubt. Yeah, they did a masterful job of that. But so that's our first pick for memorable fallen game character there. Moving on from there, we'd also like to tip our hat out there to Red Dead Redemption, the 2010 original, and John Marston.
Absolutely, man. You know, when you got into the Spurs and cowboy hats, you know, of this guy, you know, and you ran him through, like, you know, I don't know how 20 hours of gameplay. I'm sure just many of you are as shocked as I was when towards the end of the game he actually he gets betrayed and pretty much bites the dust.
Yeah, he gets taken out in the horrific fashion.
Oh yeah. It was pretty nice, but very much in an Old West style.
Yeah, it's very Butch Cassidy.
Yes. Now depending on how you played this character throughout the game, he could kind of be viewed as a villain too.
Yeah.
Those games kind of let you really kind of run amok and do what you want to. At least your infamy level could have been pretty high. But also from the storyline, his journey on becoming a caring father did have a very touching kind of feeling to it. Really kind of like made you be like, oh man, even though this dude, he's a criminal, but he's still a father too.
Yeah.
So kind of a cool take on that.
No, absolutely. Well, Rockstar is definitely known for killing off partners and protagonists, but this was the first time that they took out the main character of a story.
Absolutely. Like you said, in previous games, definitely one of the supporting characters might die, but literally the character that you were playing as, is pretty much iced towards the end of the game was definitely a first, at least as far as I know.
Yeah, I don't remember. I mean, I don't think, anyone died in Vice City when you were playing as...
No.
The mains, you know?
Yeah, pretty much, I think almost even all the supporting characters stuck around.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It was kind of like Scarface. You'd have one person in the beginning that got kind of taken out pretty bad, and then it would go from there.
But all was not lost, because in the epilogue of the game, you got to continue the story as John's son, Jack. So that was definitely now I won't go ahead and spoil that ending for you, but there's definitely still some tragic moments there too. But definitely, if you guys are interested, definitely go out there and check it out. Definitely a classic. And same thing, 2010. 8 years have gone by. I know there's been a sequel release since then, but dang, it's just hard to believe that these times just going by so quick.
Yeah, but these stick with you after 8 years. Both of these moments, both of these fallen characters. It just sticks with you. So that's how you know it's iconic. When it just sticks with you.
You know it, man. All right. So
speaking of iconic games, guys, we may just have one coming at you right now in the form of a Name That Game. That's right. Tonight is the last week here in May, so it's the final week to earn points for the Name That Game tournament. So again, the rules are we're going to flash up a single still image of a video game, and it's up to you beautiful people out there watching to guess the name of that game. Write it down in chat as quick as you can, and the first 3 people to name that game correctly will each win points. Higher points for first, then second, then third. But the first 3 people all get points, guys. So get your hands ready on those keyboards. Get your thumbs working on those phones if that's what you're using. And get ready to...
Name That Game. I love it.
All right, guys. There it goes. Coming at you. What do we got?
Let's see it. We're going to get that on the big screen for you guys so you can get a nice, good look at it. There we go.
Oh, look. This little guy might be familiar.
Might be a little bit of a dead giveaway.
Oh, man. Life Reboot. Oh. He throws down a guess there pretty fast. I love it. Julio Redwood coming into chat right there. How you doing, sir? Thank you for joining us tonight. Throw a little bit of love out there for Julio.
Oh, yeah. Definitely, give you guys a few more seconds to go ahead. Try to be as specific as possible. There's a lot of games in this series.
Yes, a lot of games in this series. Do you know who this villain is?
I do. Should we throw it out
there? Yeah.
All right, that's the infamous Pharaoh Man.
Pharaoh Man.
The robot masters. They always took on some, Bubble Man, Heat Man, Scissor or Blade Man. They just always had some. Dr. Wily.
He did. I like the themes. Biscuit Man, Whisk Man.
Exactly. Well, probably by like part 8 or 9, you might have been going into different kitchen appliances.
Pastry Bag Man.
But okay, man, let's go ahead and throw it up on in there. Thank you, guys. Let's go ahead and show them which one it is.
Dude, Life Reboot says, fun fact, I invented Pharaoh Man and Proto Man, but I can't prove it.
Oh, man, look at that. Proto Man, the brother of awesome. Mega Man. Definitely, also pretty much the first robot master.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, Life, that's pretty awesome, man. If you had a hand in that back in the day. It's I mean, you know people, so like I'm instantly like thinking, "Yep, that's a fact. I believe it." J-Dog says Woodman. Get your mind out of the gutter down there, J-Dog. What are you doing, Woodman?
Absolutely. Well, let's see it. Let's show them what's up.
We got it. We Life reboot coming in there. Mega Man 4 it is.
Absolutely, man. And you know it's funny, man. El Bandito man, Charboil man. These could be robot masters. But you know, I always kind of saw the first 3 Mega Mans as like the ones that were like just great. You know, like you play them and they were just. This one was kind of like to me the one that like.
It wasn't great.
Yeah, it kind of started to turn. I mean, it had all the elements that you would want. It even had kind of like a mystery villain,
yes.
like another doctor was creating, and like Dr. Wily supposedly had reformed and like, you know, gone to the side of Dr. Light, and they were going to work together with Mega Man. Of course, by the end, you know, you find out Wily's just up to his old tricks again. But still, I don't know. There was just always something about this one that turned me away from it. Like I didn't beat it like I'd beat the first 3 games. So we got a little bit of a love-hate relationship with it. But either way, I know it's still one that people loved. They loved the Robot Masters. And still, there was still a 5 and a 6 on the Nintendo before, you know, it started going to some of the bigger, you know, some of the next generation consoles. So people love Mega Man.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, anyone else down there in chat, we're still looking for a 3rd place Mega Man 4. All you got to do is add the 4 on the end, and whoever does it first is going to get the points.
Absolutely.
All right, dude, Life, I love your story down here. He says, quick version of the story. After Mega Man 2 came out, my friends and I were drawing characters inspired by the series, sent them direct to Capcom. Mega Man 3 and Mega Man 4 had characters that looked like the ones he sent to the developers, or the characters he had sent to developers. Coincidence? He thinks not. Dude, Charboil, you did the exact same thing, right?
You know, there definitely has been situations where I've sent stuff to companies,
yes,
and it's been accepted, and then you get this like, well, at least now, more recently, you get an email, and they're kind of like, hey, this is awesome. Thanks for submitting this. This is ours now.
Yeah. They printed a bunch of stuff you wrote in a freaking game.
Yes, yeah. And now, in one way, it's kind of like an honor. You know, it's kind of like, hey, awesome. Like I didn't submit it to make money, but it was just kind of like, you know, the way it was written was so like, if you bring it to a lawyer, they're going to be like, yeah, they're pretty much telling you that when you submitted that. Yeah, it became theirs.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way a lot of submissions go, but still, you'd love to get a nod or something. Man,
exactly.
You know?
I trust me, when I looked in that special thanks in the back of the book and I wasn't in there, I was like...
Well, did you look in the regular thanks section?
Oh, I looked. Trust me, I scanned
Maybe
that
they
whole...
didn't put you in the special thanks, but you got the Jamoke thanks back there.
I'm probably somewhere like on the website, way down at the bottom. But no, but either way, that's really cool, Life. No, awesome story. And
look, Julio says he's got the same thing. He applied for a job at Rare, giving suggestions for Sea of Thieves, and a lot of his suggestions ended up in an update. Coincidence? Maybe not.
They're like, hey, we have this over here anonymously.
That's mine now.
Yes.
That's like the guy who invented the Doritos Locos Tacos. Did you ever hear that story?
No.
Yeah, the guy literally like gave that idea to Taco Bell. They never gave him any credit, no money, no nothing. You know?
Really?
Yeah, just because the guy was like, "You should do this," and they're like, "All right, we will." Doritos Locos Tacos are literally the most selling tacos they've ever sold.
Man, that's where you just kind of sit back and you say, damn.
No doubt. Look at that. Rich on the board down there with his Mega Man 4 coming in 3rd place. Good job, my dude.
Awesome, man. Well, we're definitely going to have, you know, since it's the last week for Name That Game, and like, you know, I don't want to discourage anybody from guessing, but man, Life Reboot is like hitting it like as if he was James on Jeopardy. If you guys, but even still,
second and third place.
Yeah, second and third place. And honestly, for any of you folks that are under 30 points, we're going to go ahead and give you some double points tonight for your answers. We're not trying. Trust me, Life's up there, so it's going to still take a bit to catch up to them. But anyone that's under 30 points will get you. Once you get at least that 30 mark, then you go back to normal. But we're gonna get you bumped up a little bit there for joining us, especially tonight on our Memorial Day edition. We know there's a lot of people out there partying probably still and hanging with their families. But hey, we appreciate you guys here. And also a little later, I'm going to tell you what you guys are going to get as winning for the Name That Game tournament.
Absolutely, guys. So stick around for that. Should be a lot of fun. But we're going to get back to our in memoriam of fallen video game characters. And just the last one that we talked about was a real rock star coming from Rockstar Games, James Marksman, at Red Dead Redemption. And we're going to keep the rock stars coming. And we got a set of 2 of them for you. Coming straight from GTA 4, we're talking Roman Bellic and Kate McCreary.
Now, what's really wild about this one, rather than, we wanted to say and because, of course, it's how you control your story, but it was more of an or. Because it's like, in this particular game, GTA 4, which came out in 2008, the main character actually, in a sense, had to choose whether his brother or his newly married wife had to die. Now, it wasn't that specific. It was like, who's going to die? But you had to kind of...
I never played this game, so I didn't know that. But like the minute you said that, I'm instantly having this flashback to the 2002 Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. You never know when some villain's going to come by with a sadistic choice. Save the woman you love or let the little children suffer.
That's exactly what Rockstar was doing. And really, actually, in these, like you said, in these memory video or pictures we're doing tonight, we are giving Rockstar a lot of love. But that's cool because they do put a lot
they kill a lot of shit.
They kill. Exactly.
Savage over there at Rockstar, man.
Killing it. But like we were saying, either Roman Bellic, who was like your brother who had already come to America and he owned a taxi business and kind of helps you get off the ground when you get here. And then, of course, Kate McCreary, who's like, she's part of the Irish mob pretty much. Like she's not an active member, but she's a family member. So it's kind of like, she's innocent, though. She doesn't interact with any or go on any jobs or anything, so she definitely was more innocent. But so is your brother. He's just a taxi dude that kind of gets wrapped up in all your crazy BS.
Yeah.
So either way, this was a hard decision to make. Plus, Rockstar had added in these hangout missions where the characters would call you on the phone and be like, "Hey, come on out and let's go play pool." And it kind of made them fun.
I remember watching you play this game a lot. Like I never played it myself, but you were like, "Oh, this guy's calling me. He wants to go hang out and do shit." I'm like, "Dude, I'm here. Let's hang out." And why are you going bowling with this guy? What are we doing? We could go bowling in real life.
Exactly. But it did give you kind of more of a companionship with the characters. So made this also more tough because they kind of do force the wife on you. It's not really a thing that you can choose not to do. It's part of the story. Of course, your brother's your brother.
Yeah.
But
hey,
oh
Mr. Fusion.
man.
Coming in with that sub right there. Go throw some love out there for Mr. Fusion. Thank you so much for that, my dude. I super appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in tonight as well. Going over some of our dearly departed, fallen video game characters, talking about GTA 4 with Roman Bellic, and I think it's Kate McCreary.
You're right.
That sounds
McCreary,
like a trashy way to pronounce it that Rockstar would come up with.
Yes, McCreary.
Talking about her behind us.
Yeah, you got that right. Those guys at Rockstar. I love those double entendres.
I know a couple of McCrearys myself. So
McCreary. Throwback.
Yeah.
But
thank you, Mr. Fusion. We appreciate it.
And we're definitely going to have some more Name That Game coming up. So, you definitely stick around. But one thing I do have to say, regardless of who you chose in this game, I actually did choose the brother over the wife. It was just kind of like one of those things where I'm like,
was the McCreary not that good? That sounds like a sandwich now.
Go get yourself a whole McCreary. But I don't know. There was just something that I kind of knew it was coming up, and I was like, I don't know. I want to see how this is going to play out because now it's still going to be a revenge tale, but it's like you killed the woman I love. Yeah. It's kind of like I was like, I wanted to see how that went down.
Yeah, but if it's a revenge tale. McCreary.
You're like, I gotta get. But man, either way you cut it, man, the game actually ended very. It's still a tragedy because regardless of when you take the person out that was responsible, the other person's still dead. So it's like, But Rockstar actually rectified this.
Oh, did they?
McCreary, but not until the next game. Where there was
go ahead. You're right.
where there was a similar situation in GTA 5 where you had to pick, who was pretty much going to get taken out. Now, these were all the characters you were playing as, so it was really like, this was almost more effective because you're like, damn, I've played as these guys, I've leveled them up. But then they also had the option where it was like, no, we're going to save them all. So it's like there was like an exit strategy there.
That's cool.
Yeah, but no, GTA 4. Nope, you had to pick one of them. One of them had to go. So that's why they ended up here on our memorandum for fallen video game characters.
Absolutely, man. And you know what else this reminds me of? This reminds me of Wolfenstein.
Oh,
How you have to choose which guy you save at the beginning, and then you run with the other through the...
Dang, that would have been a... Okay, well... We'll always have another Memorial Day next year. We definitely got the. Unfortunately, that didn't make the list this year. But
honestly,
dang,
I scrapped it from the list because I haven't finished 2 yet, and I didn't want to talk about it too much and get it spoiled. But
yeah, definitely lip sealed there. But yes, pretty wild pick there as well. But I think that's about it for GTA 4.
Yes,
but
it's time to name that game, guys. That's right. We're going to be hitting these hard and fast at the end of every little segment here tonight because we want to get a couple of these in here, give some people the opportunity to grab some points and get moving if you're a little lower on the leaderboard. So again, we're going to show a single still image of a video game. It's up to you guys as fast as you can to name that game. Be the first, second, or third person in chat to correctly name the game, and you'll earn a series of points based on how fast you got it out there. So get ready, guys, because it's coming right at you. It's time to...
name that game. I love it. Let's give it to him.
Here we go.
You know, it's kind of funny, man. Like, you know, after all the weeks of me putting in some real, like, brain busters, you know, I was like, tonight, I'm really going to throw it out there. You know, I'm going to throw out some memorable ones that I think a lot of people will really be able to rock and roll and get out there. And from I just took a quick glance down there, man. I see people are already rocking out some answers. So we're going to give you guys like another like maybe 20 seconds or so.
Well, J-Dog says it's the original Mega Man. So I think he's fairly close. Floor is joining us tonight as well. Hello, hello. Thank you for stopping in.
Absolutely, man. Now
we'll give you guys another few seconds to throw some guesses in on this one, but I do want to take a second to thank Sam again for sending us that awesome Name That Game clip. I'm going to throw down a link to him there in the chat. Feel free to check him out. He was just streaming earlier today. Amazing bass player, plays Rocksmith live on stream. Can, you know, just completely off the cuff riff some awesome tracks for if you want to hang out. And I believe on Fridays in the afternoon he also plays some fun games that you can check as well. So make sure to throw him some love. Let him know the Power Hour Love sent you. I think I'm too young to have played this game.
Well, it definitely had that, you know, not under 17. Don't rent this game to that.
Yes.
And what's really kicking on this is that it came out on the N64.
Yeah.
You know,
you don't get a lot of Nintendo games that are like push it to the limit. But this one definitely was. This was a game I got my hands on, talked a lot about in previous episodes, and you guys are absolutely right down there in chat. It is Conker's Bad Fur Day.
I mean, even just look at that cover right there.
Yeah.
There we got it. We got it right there at the bottom.
This game is not for anyone under the age 17.
Absolutely, with that little mature mark right there. Like you said, you didn't see it on a lot of N64 games. So this definitely was one that really rocketed. So let's see what we got. So we definitely had
we got Life Reboot coming in first down there.
Ready to rock.
Mr. Fusion seconds behind him, and J-Dog picking up the slack for third place.
Oh man! All right. Well, like we said, we've got plenty of Name That games still for you guys to score some more points. And I think after the next one, I'm going to tell you guys what the big prizes are for the Name That game. Now, to calculate everything up and make sure it's fair, we actually won't announce the winners tonight.
Yeah, we'll do it next week.
Yeah, first thing next week, which will be another fun episode. We'll talk more about that later. But, definitely. So let's get back into it, man. I think we got another character to talk about.
We will, but I do want to mention about this game. Like, they had a 4-way multiplayer on this. That was the bomb, dude. I absolutely loved it. And like the multiplayer let you play as a bunch of different characters, and my favorite one I know I've mentioned before is these samurai teddy bears that they have. And they speak this weird sort of pseudo-Japanese, or faux Japanese, where they're just like, what to say, but they could like cut each other's heads off, and like stuffing like cotton would shoot out of their neck. It was hilarious, dude. This game was a riot, but the multiplayer was great. Just great multiplayer.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, man, because on the original Xbox a few years after this was released, they did a remastered version.
I remember that.
And it's called like Live and Reloaded.
Yeah.
And I mean, even the cover itself, he's sitting on like a tank Of course, he's sitting on like the cannon part, like right in between his legs, and the little the game was just great.
It's suggestive.
For pushing it to the limit with those very Warner Brothers Disney style characters, where you're just like, oh my gosh. I mean, if you ever played this game, you remember fighting the giant crap monster and bouncing on the flower. Yeah, I mean, there's
the flower thing. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, Floor, did you guys not play GoldenEye over there on the old N64, man? I know PlayStation was a big rage here as well, but we had a few, like maybe a year or two, I think, where they were kind of neck and neck, and then PlayStation seemed to really take off after.
Oh, yeah.
But there was a while there where both of them kind of had a lot of respect. But I remember playing with you all the time, Bandito. Yes, dude, this was a great game. We definitely rocked this back in the day.
Well, really, like we said, like PlayStation 1 kind of went through like this renaissance period. When it first came out, it really didn't have a lot of great, I mean, Twisted Metal and extreme games, but it's like then when it started putting out like the Resident Evils and the Crash Bandicoot.
1,000% agree.
Yeah.
Yes, when Resident Evil came out, boom, PlayStation was suddenly something everybody was like, we got to get this. This is like nothing you've seen.
And they did have a Resident Evil on 64, but it just didn't. The frame rates were all kind of choppy, and it just it was like PlayStation was kind of the place to be, but the 64 had its games. I mean, shit, even that wrestling game, the NWO versus the World, like that was like, even till to this day, there's stuff that was in that game for the first time that are still in wrestling.
Yeah, it's still in games. The whole thing of taunting to power up special abilities and things like that all came from that classic game. I know Rich is out there. We used to play that game.
It's God.
Yes, exactly, dude. Sting would come down from the rafters. They'd just lower him from the ceiling, but the graphics weren't good enough for him to be holding it, so he'd literally just float down standing. It was hilarious.
It's awesome.
It was as though he descended from the heavens to kick ass.
You know it, man.
Looking like the Crow and shit. Floor says he never played GoldenEye. That breaks my heart, my man. I hope someday we can link up and play some GoldenEye together. That is probably my all-time favorite game. One of these days we'll get it over on the game night so I can rock and roll it. I just want to get a couple. I want to get a couple jamokes in here to run through and playing that game.
Dude, I know you've said that, so we got to make it happen. But dude, this guy is a beast.
Thank you.
I would say like your level of GoldenEye almost kind of matches my level of Mortal Kombat 1 on the Genesis. Yes. Like we're kind of like, we would consider ourselves like eternal champions in either of those.
No doubt. Yeah, I was having a long discussion about this yesterday because I met up with some old friends. Justin K. I was talking to Justin K. and he was like, dude, I remember playing this with you, and it was like, 3-on-1, 20 to zip every game. And I'm like, yeah, dude. And there was a guy there that was like, I can smoke you. And I was like, bro, bring it. Anytime, any place, I got you, man. So we'll have to see what happens. It's God.
It's God. But you got to look down there, man.
He cheats and plays, uses oddball. Dude, you could pick the character, pick the weapon, pick the stage. I don't care. I'll wreck you 10 out of 10 every time, man. Bring it. I'll take the Pepsi challenge with that shit. So DJ Napalm in the house. What is up, sir? Thank you. Floor Napalm, here's some Twitch love out there for you beautiful people coming to hang out with us tonight. We really appreciate it. We're just wrapping up this Name That Game entry right now, but we're doing some more Name That Games throughout the course of the night as we celebrate some of our fallen some of our fallen video game characters here on Memorial Day. We're moving right into the next one right now, so in memorandum, right, we're moving on. Back to 2010.
Oh, yeah.
Talking Noble 6. In Halo Reach. Tell them a little bit about it, Senior Bull.
Man, now, I might lose some Halo fandom here, but I actually only recently played this game.
It's amazing that Napalm showed up. He's a big Halo fan.
Oh, well, here we go. He's going to know all about this one, man. Well, in Halo Reach, that actually takes place before the first Halo game, the one that you take over as Master Chief and go and just kick ass, kick Covenant ass all over the place. But yeah, Reach kind of tells the story of the Covenant coming out and like really causing, a ruckus prior to everything that transpires in the original Halo game. Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is that, while Master Chief is, pretty much in hibernation, there's still like these teams of Spartans that are being put together that are even like, like Master Chief is like a 2nd level Spartan, and there's like the 3rd level. So you actually, you play as Noble 6, which is a member of this team of Spartans that are going through.
Is he a level 6 Spartan?
No, he's only. I'm pretty sure he's a 2. I think he's on the same. Party Man Will, if you're out there, he could definitely correct me on this. He's either a 2 or 3, but he's still badass. Like when you're playing as him, you feel like you're playing Master Chief, same view, but you are playing a different character, and you kind of get introduced to these other guys, which of course you've never really gotten too into that, like fighting with other Spartans until the most recent Halo game, which was 5.
Yeah,
but
so I mean, this is going back a long time.
Exactly.
They're just getting back to that sort of concept,
Now the spoiler alert, but pretty much throughout the game, all your comrades get taken out in different situations. So this thing, it introduces you to these characters. You start to care about them, and then they're just kind of slowly but surely ripping away some. Some of them you're kind of like, okay, that guy was kind of a little crazy. Like maybe
you not like him much anyway.
But no, eventually it's pretty much just Noble 6 having to complete the mission, which of course if you're good at the game he does. But the whole thing is regardless of how the final mission plays out, that kind of leads it into what happens in the original Halo game. But after the credits, there's actually a final mission where you go, and it's pretty much a death match. Like there's no way for you to win it. It's just almost like how long you can last. But it pretty much, as you get hit more and more, your mask starts cracking and stuff like that. The vision gets hard to see, but it's just so intense and so like, man, for him to go out in a blaze of glory like that, it was like, this has become like one of my favorite Halo games. Like I'm like, this is so badass.
Yeah, he goes out like oh man, all right. I don't know if it's okay to throw out a Game of Thrones spoilers at this point. But he goes out like Jorah, dude. Just getting beat, but not going down, man.
And the saddest thing of it is that there's nobody there to really immortalize him. You know what I mean?
Like it's like witness what he did, to remember it.
Exactly.
But we're remembering it here on Memorial Day, Noble 6.
Yes, and I know
throw some love out there for Noble 6.
Our buddy out there, Party Man. He's also a huge Halo fan. Like I know. I'd played through all the other ones. I got the Master Chief collection with my Xbox, so I played all those. They were awesome. Played 5. I was like, oh, this is a lot of fun. It was introduced some different elements. But man, going back to playing this, that was very much a core Halo game. Like it was like it
good stuff.
Yeah, like it reawakens those older feelings where I'm like, this is really what made this series badass. Like it was just
awesome.
Yeah, it was just such a great game. So
no, that sounds like a really good one. Yeah,
it was good. So you guys let us know. I know you said a few folks out there are Halo
definitely.
fans.
Yeah, Floor says he's a Halo virgin. Never played a single one. Halo version, GoldenEye version, man. I feel like we're going to be popping a lot of cherries for you, Floor. That's going to happen. Nate Bump says that's blasphemy, dude. But yeah, Red versus Blue I think's around. I think it is Rooster Teeth. I think you're right. But I know that they do a lot of other projects as well, so I don't think they do it as much as they used to. But I think you can still find some of it. I just think they're on a somewhat more exclusive platform, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, search around, because I know Rooster Teeth is doing something right now. I can't remember what, but they do lots of different fun projects, so it's pretty cool.
Now, the one thing that's great about the most recent Halo games, they have the remastered version. So it's like, but it's kind of cool because you like literally with a press of a button, you can switch it to kind of see what it looked like back on the old Xbox.
Yes.
So sometimes you'd fall into a room and I'm like, wow, this looks really cool. Let me see what oh man. I'm kind of glad I'm playing it now. I remember saying that to Party Man. He's like, well, dude, back then when you played
really
that,
good.
you were like, this is bad.
Yeah, I'm excited. It looks like the Master Chief Collection's actually going to get put on PC.
Oh.
So if it does, I think I'm gonna pick that up on PC. Floor says Memorial Day is the ultimate day to remember Jor Bear. I love Jor Bear. That's cute.
Absolutely. Hey man, the bear, Bear Island.
Fits. It works.
That's
it's
awesome. So definitely, we're gonna have some more memories, memorial characters after the news. But until we get there, man, what do we got coming up next?
We're gonna test your memory in other ways with some Name That Game.
Oh yeah, you gotta play that bit, man.
I'm going to. I do. We just got added in a thing here, so it popped up bright red on this new thing I have, and I'm like, whoa! Next time I'm on. Hit you up. Absolutely, man. Absolutely, Napalm. We'll play some more Halo, dude. Squat it up in there. Definitely, definitely, definitely. But, again, like we said, we're going to throw up a single still image of a video game. It's up to you guys as fast as you can to name that game. That's right. You first, second, and third person will each get points, for placing. And the person with the most points at the end of tonight will be winning some amazing prizes. Again, there's prizes for first, second, and third place, so make sure you name this game as quick as you can. If you don't know what it is, but you think someone else got the right answer, just copy it. But, guys, get your thumbs ready, get your keyboards out, because it's time to...
Name that game.
There we go.
This is probably the toughest one of the night, I'm going to say.
Yeah, this is pretty tricky, and I think it's kind of a tricky scene. You know, because like, am I? Is there something in front of me that should be seen? I don't think so.
Well, I was gonna say where my head is. I think that's listing the enemy.
Okay, yeah,
there's like two enemies on the screen. So,
but it's listed again up top though. Yes. So you're okay.
So yeah, this one's pretty tough. This one's tough.
It is.
I think it's safe to say that this is an RPG.
Yeah. What I like about it is that it's very detailed and very descriptive. Like if you notice, it says attack with your weapon to damage the enemy. Super helpful. Yeah, right there. I thought I should poke myself with it, so that's good. Golden Girl Bell out there calling out Dick Tracy. Yeah.
That should have made the Name That Game tournament.
Oh man,
there's always next year.
Yeah, maybe next year. That game is, dude. If you saw it, like, okay, we'd have to pull an image with like Dick Tracy in his yellow coat.
Yes,
or nobody would ever get it. You know what I mean? Doom and Diablo are both good guesses, but I would say that this landscape even looks too forgiving for either of those.
Yes, games. Yes. Like I said,
although what's with like the toxic barrels or whatever over there? That's a little weird.
Now, one thing I can definitely say about this game, when it was released, I guess I could tell them what system. This was released on the 360.
Okay.
And it was the first 360 game I ever got that had more than one disc.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay. So it was like kind of like, whoa. There's a lot going on in this game. I mean, that wasn't uncalled for back in the day, with PlayStation 1, the Final Fantasy
games.
A
couple of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was it, like Final Fantasy 13 had like 5 discs or something on 360?
I'm sure it did, man. There was definitely more than one, that's for sure.
J-Dog says Mega Man X.
Well, we'll only spend a little more time on this one, because now I do see that this one, I know I said earlier, oh, man, I made it easy for you guys.
It seems a little tough, but we're getting some good guesses. We got Legends of the Guardians and Elder Scrolls. Both good guesses. DJ Napalm thinks it might be Lost Odyssey.
I don't even know if I ever heard of that one.
I have not heard of Lost Odyssey, but it sounds like it could be this really weird game, this lost treasure of a game.
But one thing we can say is that, this was the brainchild of one of the original creators of Final Fantasy. He broke away from Square Enix and was like, hey, I want to go do my own thing. So it was very reminiscent of like stuff like Final Fantasy X, but it had nothing to do with Final. It didn't have any of the so you're not going to see like a Marlboro monster flying around. That's the one that is a big looking like a little shop of horrors kind of thing.
We're not going to see any chocobos.
Yeah, no chocobos, nothing like that. But it definitely had a very similar feel to like Final Fantasy X, where it was kind of linear and not so open as some of these other Final Fantasies. But so how are we looking, man?
It looks like somebody out there actually has the right answer. They got the right answer. I think let's just show it.
Let's do it.
We'll let them race to type it out.
Here we go. Let's have it.
Congrats, DJ Napalm. It is Lost Odyssey, man. Good job. This was definitely a pretty unique, pretty wild game.
Yep, and only on the Xbox. It's when definitely there was a lot less of the okay, you can get it on both systems. It was kind of like they were really trying to pull from exclusives. But right there it says from the creator of Final Fantasy.
Yeah, very cool, man. That's a heck of a pick right there.
You know it. So, yeah, I know we kind of led you guys a little off the thing, being like, we never heard of that one before.
But that was me every week being like, hey, the first person got it. Everyone just copy the answer. I finally learned on the last week not to just shout it out when someone gets it right.
But great call, DJ Napalm. This is also one of those RPGs that I just never finished. I got to like the end of the first disc, and like it was like, put the second disc in and let it load all this stuff. I was like, yeah, I'll do that later.
You're like, nah.
Never happened.
Nah, that's
Not that it was a bad story. I was invested, but it was just kind of like, dude, this is so like epic. I know that word gets thrown around a lot, but I just mean like the level of the story. I'm like, I've been playing for like 32 hours. How is there like another 32 hours on this thing? But yeah, definitely. Well, real quick before we jump to the news, I just want to throw it out what you guys are going to be eligible to win in the Name That Game tournament. Well, first and foremost, we're going to talk about the individual prizes that are going to be going to you guys. Well, if you get first place, you're going to get yourself a $25 Amazon gift card / gift code. You know, we don't need to physically send you the card. With the powers of the awesome internet, as long as we have some sort of a way of sending you this code, we can get that to you. Second place will win a $15 Amazon gift code. And third place will win $10. So you still get yourself a little something nice. Yeah. But definitely, that first place is what I'm sure everyone's gunning for. But I know Life Reboot, he's on top of the mountain. But, man, people are making some good guesses tonight.
You guys are doing good.
One thing I just wanted to mention, too, it won't be here even next week when we announce the winners. But we're also going to be getting an awesome trophy made up because we've been doing the Name That Game now for 3 years.
Yes.
And we've had a lot of great winners. And we want to pretty much immortalize you guys for, the first place winner getting their name inscribed on this trophy. So that will be coming a few weeks after we announce the winner of the Name the Game tournament.
Yep, it'll be a custom-made trophy that all the names of the winners will go on each year. So it'll be pretty amazing and pretty awesome. So I hope you guys are pretty psyched about that. Like I said, it'd be some pretty cool prizes, and it took some logistics to work out the trophy thing, which is why we didn't want to throw it out there right away, but we really wanted to do it. So we had to hunt down a specialist to get this put together for us, but we're happy to announce that it is going through. It is happening, so we're pretty stoked, and we're glad to be able to honor you guys for your commitment, coming back each week, rocking with us, having some fun, and playing the Name That Game tournament. And again, we're going to put a little change in your pocket as well, so you can't beat that.
You know it, not just immortalizing. We're going to get you some cool stuff where you go out and maybe buy one of these games you ain't played before.
Absolutely. What did Rich say that Conker's Bad Fur Day was $110 online?
Oh, like right now?
Yeah.
Like if you were trying to buy, oh my gosh.
I'm like, I have a copy of that game.
I was going to say, I'm sure he's not talking about the remastered Xbox one. He's talking about that original.
Yeah,
that
I could
OG.
use $110. But you know what else I could use is a daily fix or a weekly fix of some PoDunk news to let you guys know what's going on in this wacky, wonderful PoDunk world. Let's check it out.
Let's do it.
PoDunk News.
Oh, yeah, man. The last few weeks we've been kind of telling you guys, we've been mixing in the Draft of Thrones with, with the news. But, man, we've got a full, awesome, action-packed PoDunk news for you guys with no Game of Thrones spoilers.
Absolutely, guys. All right. First up's our top stories of the night. We're going to read these out for you, give you a little bit more detail. First up, we're talking 2077. It's not getting any sooner.
More truer words couldn't have been spoken and sadder words as well, because I know I'm definitely looking forward for this game. Yeah. But CD Projekt Red has announced that Cyberpunk 2077 will not be playable at E3. Now, they have said that the company will be showing off some demo. Yeah, there you go. We don't get to use that often enough. They will be the workers of of Project Red they can play it, so they can kind of be like, hey, watch this, but they're not going to let any of the public get their hands on it.
Yeah.
Most fans are hoping for at least a definite release date or a season. Because right now we have no idea. It could be released sometime next year or 2 years from now.
Yeah. It sounds like at this rate it's going to be 2077 when the game comes out.
Exactly. Now,
I don't mean to give them crap. I want to see them finish a game and publish it. That would be amazing. Now, what kind of crazy studio does that shit?
Well, I was going to say, man, I know you've got some experience, developing a video game.
It just occurred to me that 76, 77.
Oh, no!
We may just crack the code on why this game's taking long, because they're like, we can't follow that and not finish this.
Now, what I was going to say is,
go ahead.
You don't know. I was going to, if you were going to release a game,
yeah,
and you were like, only I can play. Like, does that give you I don't think that would give your audience a lot of
from some of the feedback I've had, I think I'm the only one that can play the game I made. But again, it's not a AAA title or anything.
But it's almost, to me, I'm like,
I know what you mean,
is this really done? They're going to only
Yeah.
be doing stuff that they know they can do.
Yeah.
Because I know some people are saying, well, maybe they're going to do that and then be like, hey, it's coming out next week. And I'm like, I'm not trying to be the bummer in the room, but I'm just like,
Yeah.
I have a feeling that we still have a bit to wait for this one. What do you guys think out there?
Yeah.
Do you think this is coming sooner than we think, or do we have a while to go?
Yeah, what I can say is my personal thought on it is I'm willing to bet that there's just some hang-up that's like a game-breaking bug for like a move or a weapon or something that will literally crap out the whole game. And they're like, if we let the general public do this, there's a certain percent that they'll just bumble into that and make the game look bad right off tilt. So we got to have someone in control that's going to play the game the way it's supposed to be played. Personally, I hope they get Jamie Kennedy to do it.
There you go. Well, hey, they did say it would be a member of their team, so who knows who's going to be.
Well, you remember he showed up drunk at E3, like the comedian,
yeah,
that Jamie Kennedy. I was just being saucy.
No, that would be awesome. Now I gotta say, there's a lot of photographs for Cyberpunk floating around. I picked this one specifically. You have any idea why?
'Cause there was a chick in it. I don't know.
Well, when I first looked at this, I'm like, this reminded me of somebody.
Does it remind you of a Twitch friend we may have?
Yes, it absolutely does. And I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to mention.
No doubt. Our master moderator down there, we're going to kick a link down into the chat so you can check out Aur3llia. Of course, super fantastic charity streamer, streaming Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, right? This week, she's been out of town doing some IRL stuff or something. I shouldn't say that because I have no idea what she's doing.
Sure.
But she just said she had some IRL stuff. So I'm assuming out of town because it's a Memorial Day, but who the hell knows? But either way, she's not with us this week, but she will be returning Saturday to kick off her stream again. So you can check out her channel, and you see that it's listed June 1st. She'll make her return with some awesome brand new stuff going down on her channel. So you guys definitely want to get over there and check it out. Carmilla, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Hello. Happy Memorial Day. We hope you've been having a fantastic weekend.
You know it, man. We definitely wanted to throw Ari some love and, definitely let her know we were thinking about her, and we can't wait for her to make her epic return.
Absolutely. We definitely miss her out here on the Power Hour. She's our master moderator, usually keeping the chat in line for us. Luckily, we have such beautiful people with us all the time that doesn't take much work to keep the chat flowing and running pretty smooth. But we do miss her hanging out. We miss her comments.
Absolutely.
So, again, we highly recommend checking her out. Super great streamer, super ton of fun. You'll have a good time over there. We guarantee it.
Woo! Awesome. So what's next, man?
All right, coming up next, right? Let's get dangerous. May 17th, just about a week or so ago, a couple of Fridays ago, DuckTales, the new 2017 reboot, which is already awesome considering David Tennant voices Scrooge McDuck. It has also come out with another Disney animated favorite who has joined the show. That's right, Darkwing Duck, man. Coming out of retirement. Looks pretty awesome, I have to say. I was pretty stoked about it. Life reboot down there. I love it. I'll be Ori tonight. Oh my God, I love you guys. I'm crying. Heart. Oh, that's 1,000% what she would have posted, man. That made me laugh right there because that nailed it. But yes, super big fan of Darkwing Duck, being that I think every kid of our generation loved some of these Disney Channel cartoons, but specifically as a comic book fan, to see a comic book superhero come to life as Darkwing Duck was absolutely fantastic. So in this latest DuckTales episode, they actually have Jim Cummings, the original voice of Darkwing Duck, reprise the role to come in and be Darkwing Duck again. And I have to say that there is a fun little clip here. We'd love to play it for you guys if you guys want to check it out. If we got some Darkwing fans out there, we might jump into the video room and check it out real quick. So what do you guys say we do that?
I know if you're asking for my vote, I think we should go ahead and do it, man, because I didn't even realize that was the original voice actor for Darkwing returning.
Yes.
We got to check this out.
Yes. I let me see. Okay, I just want to. Oh no, I think I turned off my slideshow. I was trying to pause it, but I think I ruined it.
But hey, the power is to the people, the beautiful people, the legion of love that we have out there. You guys let us know. You want to check out some Darkwing Duck?
I know we got some Darkwing love down there. I think the people want to do it.
Oh man, Count Duckula. Oh dude, I would love that, man. Oh, here we go.
Alistair Bourgeois. I mean, I've never actually seen your work, but you're British, so I'm sure that it's very classy and, yeah.
Yes. And you are?
British and funny. Whoa. This feels like the beginning of a great creative partnership.
Ah, cool! A big budget reboot of a thing I loved as a kid. Those are always great. Is Darkwing's motorcycle in it? Is he still a noble hero who gets back up and fights for right no matter what evil throws at him? You're keeping the theme song, right?
Would you like to see the trailer?
Oh, man. Would you like to see the trailer?
Well, man.
PoDunk News.
That looked pretty cool, man. I've actually watched a couple of that new DuckTales, and it's actually pretty good.
I love that they take a shot at like reboot stuff in a show that's a reboot of nostalgia stuff. You're just like, come on, that's so awesome.
That
guys.
is great. No, very, very cool. You know, like you said, I just think that's great. And hopefully, you know, because, I mean, Launchpad was such a pivotal part in Darkwing Duck. That's great for them to have that connection there.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. He was the launch pad taking you from from DuckTales to Darkwing, definitely, and a great contrast to the character, to you know, his seriousness and his kind of
it wasn't just a clever name.
Yeah, exactly. You know, J-Dog says, "What about Rescue Rangers?" Oh man, we could all use a little more gadget in our lives, can't we?
Absolutely. I'm sure it's on its way. If this hits off, I'm sure Rescue Rangers and maybe even a Tailspin reboot's on its way too. So
absolutely, man. But if you guys were fans of some Darkwing Duck, throw down your favorite Darkwing character down there in the chat, and we'll rap about it.
Oh yeah.
All right, coming up next, we're talking about the Steam Spring Cleaning Sale. Right now, Steam sales have become notorious events, with players often joking about buying games on sale they'll never actually play. So Steam's Spring Cleaning Weekend promotion moves in the other direction by encouraging players to go back to games they already own. So the event, which kicks off today and runs... Well, no, it kicked off last week and runs through May 28th, so it's only till tomorrow. It offers new badges for your Steam profile, which can be unlocked or upgraded by completing daily tasks or projects based on games you already own. So these projects only need to be completed once and then persist throughout the weekend. So the tasks will update every day, and it looks like you've only got a few hours left to try to pop some in there. But it was a fun event, a really cool idea. I'm sure a lot of people have seen it already, but we did want to put it in your ear, so you got a few hours left to check it out and maybe have some fun there and earn some cool badges.
Absolutely, man. There's definitely some stuff in my library that I'm just itching to play.
Oh, look at that. We got to take a minute to say hello to Valentina down there joining us, our superstar from Malaysia out there.
Oh, yeah.
Streaming on the opposite side of the world
So
with
cool.
fantastic stuff, playing The Witness out there, which is a super ton of fun, and some O2 jams. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for hanging out with us. And Life Reboot. Man, this is like... Kismet. This guy's my favorite. I think there was a liquid dog, right, called the Liquidator. if I'm right, and this is going back a long time since I've seen this, I believe he was like a used car salesman or something. And yeah, he got turned into complete water. So he called himself the Liquidator, but that's kind of like he liquidated sales as well. So it's kind of a double joke. But the character always spoke like he was a car salesman. And I absolutely loved it because he'd be like, "This next devastating blow coming courtesy of the Liquidator," you know, and then he would smash you up. And then he's like, "Oh, didn't like that one? Well, wait, there's more." And then he'd pound you again. He was a riot. Super ton of fun. One of my all-time favorite characters on the show, man.
Oh, yeah. So much fun, man. That show's just packed full of goodness, man. That Disney afternoon, full of win.
No doubt, man.
What's next?
All right. Remembering the Grumpy Cat. On Memorial Day here, we got to take a look back. On May 17th, owner Tabitha Bunsen released a statement on Twitter that confirmed that her beloved pet, Tartar Sauce, also known as Grumpy Cat, had passed away a few days earlier on May 14th due to medical complications from a urinary tract infection.
Aww.
Right? So in the post, Grumpy Cat's owners state that her spirit will continue to live on through her fans. Yes! And besides being a cherished member of the family, she had also helped millions of people smile all around the world, even when times were tough.
You know, like you said, man, there's those, you know, it's always sad to lose a pet,
Yes.
you know, But the fact, like you said, that immortalized by the internet.
Yes.
Like, it's just so cool, you know?
Yeah.
And look at, I mean, like you said, even on your shirt right
I
there.
got T-shirts right here. Dude, I have like a stuffed Grumpy Cat in the other room. You know, like I absolutely love Grumpy Cat. It definitely is a source of constant smiles for me. One of the most iconic internet memes.
You know, and definitely, like you said, man, it's a memorial show. So, like, you know, you had to wear something in memorial. And of course, I was like, you know, you're like, hey, man, why are you wearing that tonight? I was like, well, come on, man. It's the Gremlins, man. I know they're kind of hard to see because of the green on there.
Green.
But, you know, hey, man, the Gremlins are as American as apple pie here.
I thought the Gremlins were from China.
Everything comes from China nowadays, man. Everything. It's America.
Yeah, everything in America is made in China anyway. So there you go. All right. Sounds good to me. I'll buy it. But all right. We won't miss the Gremlins. We will miss you, Grumpy Cat.
Exactly.
So thank you for being the awesome meme that you were and for all the smiles you gave us.
Absolutely, man. Definitely. R.I.P. Grumpy Cat.
Yes. All right. Time for a little bit of local love, guys. We're going to put it in your ear. You've got a couple weeks. If you're hanging out down here in the Central Florida, North Florida area, you may want to check out a little bit of Local Love, which is an event you may just catch Charboil and El Bandito hanging out at.
What's
so what we've
going
got
on?
for you tonight, we've got IndieCon 2019. This is the inaugural event, Saturday, June 15th, 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. So it's pretty much an all-day event for all ages. This is at the Melbourne Auditorium, right? And it's the first ever indie convention here in Florida. A safe and happy place to trade experiences, advice, crafts, and ideas, a place to showcase your indie talents, and a place that will help foster your creativity and promote cooperation among the indie community. So IndieCon, the first American convention created specifically to support, educate, and promote independent talent. So, of course, this is in Melbourne, Florida at the Melbourne Auditorium, Saturday, June 15th.
Oh, man. You know, I think our buddy Jake Estrada and the rest of the crew that we know up there, I think they've got a working hand in this, man. And those guys, they never disappoint. Like, they put on such great events. Definitely, if you're in the area, check it out.
No doubt, guys. So we wanted to get that in your ear for any local Floridians down here with us that might want to come on down and hang with Charboil and El Bandito at IndieCon 2019.
It's going to be awesome.
All right, last but not least here in the news, we've got the headlines, which is, of course, rapid-fire segment of the show where we like to just give you the headlines of some pretty interesting news stories that were such big news. You probably heard about them already, but didn't feel right not to at least mention them, so here we go.
All right. Well, we talked a little bit about this last week. But, AEW, the new hottest group in wrestling, you know, they're going to have a show on TNT, but now it's been released that it's going to debut on October 1st. If you check your calendar and you're a wrestling fan, you'll know that that'll be competing directly with WWE SmackDown.
Oh, man.
So quite a bold move, but it just goes to show you that the AEW isn't backing down.
Nope.
They're ready to throw their name out there. And actually, they just had a great pay-per-view this past week with a bunch of surprises. The wrestler formerly known as Dean Ambrose jumped ship, and now he's actually over there as
Do
a
they
member.
not call him Dean Ambrose? Is
No,
that like his real name?
They can't call him Dean Ambrose. He actually goes by the name Johnny Moxley, which was his indie name before he went to the WWE. So.
I thought Dean Ambrose was legit his real name.
Really?
I'm surprised. I should have known better, but like you have people like Batista, and you're like, that's that dude's real name.
It's his last name, exactly. And that's what's nice when it is their name, because then they can take that with them. But there was a lot of other great surprises, and I'm sure when this debuts on the 1st, it's going to be awesome.
Now, who started AEW? Remind me. Was that Cody Rhodes?
Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the main the
big three.
The big four, because the Young Bucks, two dudes, you know. But yeah, they're kind of running the whole show. But it's backed by Tony Khan, who's the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So. God, he's definitely throwing out some money, man. That show at the MGM Grand, pretty wild.
Dude, speaking of memorials, man. That's Spock, man.
That's Spock, man.
He did, you know?
Absolutely. He did some great stuff, man. That's so good. But we got one more quick.
Let's move on. Don't think about Spock too much. All right, we got some more headlines here. Talking about Ric Flair back at home and recuperating after his surgery. And last week there was a lot of scare about his health, but the surgery looks like it went well, and he is home and recovering.
All I got to say is, woo! We'll go on.
All right.
Oh, I am excited about this.
Hit it up.
Just met the man about a month ago, but it just was released by Shudder that The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs will be renewed for a second season. I've been watching this every Friday, rocking and rolling with Joe Bob, watching two crazy double features along with his male girl, Darcy, as they sit there and just comment and have a great time watching these old flicks. And I'm so glad he'll be returning either later this year or early next year with a season 2.
Absolutely, man. That should be a super ton of fun. And last but not least, we've got Nintendo Switch overtaking PS4's lifetime sales in Japan.
Wow.
That's right. It has now become an outseller of PlayStation 4. Now, remember, PS4 came out over 3 years ago. You know, Nintendo Switch only recently came out. And now the PS4 has about 8 million units sold.
Okay.
And the Switch has just surpassed that. So it's like,
Wow.
you know, it's in the somewhere 100,000s, you know, so it's like 8 and 100-something thousand, and they just surpassed it. But of course, Nintendo Switch worldwide has only sold 35 million units, where the PS4 is almost at 100 million units. I think it's about 92 or 93 million units right now. So it has a long way to go to catch up worldwide, but it's surprising to think that Japan itself is buying more Switch than they are PS4, even though the PS4 has been out so much longer.
You know, just to add on this story, recently, a Switch came into my house.
Yeah.
You know, and it is a fun system. There's a lot of neat things you can do with it. It still has some of those motion sensor kind of deals going along with it, but it doesn't take over the whole gameplay, which I think is cool. You know, it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see. You know, I mean, of course, Japan being very heavily Nintendo favored, you know, for so long, yeah, I could see them kind of leading, but the fact that the PlayStation just offers so many different games for it, it's still a major accomplishment for Nintendo to take that lead.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, considering the Wii was such a great console.
Oh yeah.
You know, but to hear that the Switch has just in such a short amount of time outpaced PS4 is pretty surprising. Life's hitting the nail on the head right here. Time to sell that Sony stock, figure out how to invest in Nintendo. You know? Man, I don't know if I could bring myself to buy Sony stock after Amazing Spider-Man, that Andrew Garfield movie.
Like we were saying earlier, you know, you know, with the Nintendo, E3 is right around the corner, and from what I've heard, they've got some new enhancements that they're talking about, possibly some new games coming out. So yeah, the Switch might pick up in some of those worldwide sales coming real soon.
Absolutely, guys. But we know there's also a lot of news coming our way very soon about the PS5. You know, E3's just around the corner at this point, and we're going to make sure to do some pretty extensive coverage of that whole event. Maybe a little bit beforehand, but definitely a lot after to recap you guys on anything you may have missed. So make sure to stick around with us here at the Power Hour Love to get all your latest and greatest video game news and pop culture news, and we'll be here to keep you guys filled in on just what's shaking. But for the rest of tonight, we're going to jump back into the main studio, talk a little bit more about our fallen video game characters that we love the most, and going to round out some of that Name That Game tournament.
Let's do it. Man, oh man. So excited, man. I can't believe we're already in the end of May, man. Like I think we just rock and roll every week here with the beautiful people, the Legion of Love, and we're just so happy that we get to share these great events with you guys.
You know it, man. Where does the time go? Time flies when you're having fun, and when we're hanging out with you beautiful people, we're having fun, man. So let's take a look at our next video game character. I just saw what it was.
A little plural on this one.
Our video game characters, the companions of Fallout 3.
Well, man, you know, I was talking a lot on some of those other games, which I know some of those you've also yet to play, but I know you're very familiar with this one, El Bandito.
Yes.
So why don't you go ahead and take the lead on this?
All right. Well, so the Fallout 3 companions, right? Before New Vegas, every character in the Fallout universe every character that was a companion could be killed, right? And this was a point of pure frustration for me because I did everything I could to keep my companions alive. I hated the thought of losing one of them out there, even when it was their fault, even when they were doing ridiculous stuff, even when I hadn't saved in a really long time. I'd go back and play through hours of content just to make sure I didn't kill some of my favorite Fallout companions, and I had to make sure that they made it through the end. So while I do know that there were some characters that I chose to stick with more than others, like Fox, because he was very hard to kill and could carry more than anyone, making him a favorite of mine, and I think a lot of other players as well. But there was also a lot of characters like Dogmeat, or I believe the girl's name is Sandy, right?
Yep.
That were like always running headfirst into danger, had like no hit points or armor, and were constantly getting killed. It was nice when the DLC Broken Steel came out and they added the Puppies perk, which would let you pick up a new Dogmeat from, I believe, Vault 101,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, they were kind of like right outside there, and you just he was back.
So you could get yourself a couple of extra dogs, which should be fun. But it was just a personal source of frustration, but also in my mind, that sort of thing that's like, I can't let them go. I can't, like these are my fallen comrades. I have to take care of them. I have the ability to travel back in time and save them. And it was what I chose to do. But again, you can't save everyone. And all the other Fallout games after this, you lose companions. It's difficult to get them to the end, just because of their story content. Like if something happens, it happens. But this game in particular, you did get to the end and lost a couple of people along the way. And depending on how you played the game or how much you wanted their weapon, you may have lost different people than us. So it's just sort of a general remembrance of the companions of Fallout 3.
Absolutely, man. Now, one companion in particular I want to talk about, one I can really relate to, was Fox.
Yeah.
The giant super mutant that you see right over here. Yep. He was extremely hard to kill, and he could carry a ton of stuff. So I know he was a fan favorite of many players.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost, I think he even said that unless you just sat there and unloaded on Fox, with you, while other people were shooting at him, he was really hard to go down. But like you said, a fan favorite like Dogmeat.
Yes.
Yeah, he would bite the big one sometimes. I know I'd be like, okay, when did I last save? We're gonna
also, if I remember right, I don't think you had to give Fox ammo.
Oh yeah,
he came with that Gatling laser and was just like, and would just chug away, man.
You know it, man.
He was pretty awesome.
And like you said, just a great game all around, and just the storyline with these folks, like you said, you didn't want them to die. You wanted them to live and live out the story with you. From New Vegas on, they pretty much made it where the companions were unkillable. They could get knocked down for a little bit and this and that, but they would eventually revive. So, some folks, they like that threat, of that, that you could actually lose the character, while others are like, well, they're pivotal to the story. We want to make sure they see it through to the end.
Absolutely. Now, Carmilla, I see your comments down there about falling behind. Last week, we did announce the placings, and you were actually in second place going into last week. So you may not have lost too many points from just that 1 week because you had made a lot of points in the first week there. But tonight, Senor Boyle said anyone under 30 points for joining us on the final night will be getting double points until they reach 30 points.
Yes.
At which point you'll go back to getting your normal allotment of points. But like we said last week, you were still in second place.
I could speak definitely on that. I'll at least list the top three.
Oh, okay.
That from last week. Now tonight, this doesn't count the points that have been earned so far.
Yeah.
But starting tonight, starting from last week till today, in first place we had, of course, Life. He's definitely, like I said, he's our James from Jeopardy up there, rocking and rolling,
reigning champion.
Reigning champion. And then in second place was Carmel.
Nice.
He's definitely on there in second place, and Mr. Fusion was in third. So
nice.
Now I know Mr. Fusion and Carm are very close, so definitely try to get in there and answer some tonight. I know Mr. Fusion's
he's got a couple points already.
Yeah.
So you may want to jump in with some good ones. We have 3 more tonight to do with you beautiful people, so plenty of opportunities to earn some points. Should be a super ton of fun. We're going to do one more quick memoriam, and then we'll jump into a Name That Game. And this one is pretty unique. I'm going to let you take it away with this one, Senor Bull. We're talking about 2014 Johnny Wiles to the Moon.
Absolutely, man. And, honestly, probably a lot of folks may have not heard of this game yet. It was released in 2014. It won a lot of awards through Steam, and I'm not sure if there's been any ports over to Switch or Xbox, but I definitely played it on Steam. And, it's one of those indie games. Sometimes they have a way of really hitting you in the heart, you know, like you know, they're, you know, not to say that some of the AAA titles can't do that as well, but man, sometimes people when they're making a game, they're either doing it something related to their life experience, and I think this one would have to kind of hit her close to the specific developer that designed this. But in the game itself, you play a set of scientists that have the ability to enter the memories of a dying subject to achieve a wish fulfillment. So kind of think of like Inception, but instead of going into the dreams, you're kind of going into their, you know, their memories, and you kind of see things through their eyes, and as you're not playing as the particular person, but you're like a third person.
Yeah, so it's like part detective. You have to find out what their greatest wish would be, and then let it happen for them. Yeah,
and Johnny Wiles, who's the dying character that they're pretty much doing this for, his wish is to go to the moon. And I won't go any deeper into the story just in case some of the beautiful people out there ever want to play it. It's very touching, and just to, even though there's not like battle sequences and stuff like that, you're more or less kind of like playing through like a mini movie. But man, there's just some, like, it really kind of drives you. It's about a 4-hour game.
Yeah.
So, and it was made in like one of those like RPG Maker programs.
Okay.
So it's not very graphically intensive, but man, it's all about the story here.
Yeah, it sounds like it has quite a story.
Exactly. It's kind of one of those things. From the beginning, you know Johnny's going to die. But regardless, seeing the memories go through, it's still very touching and has a lot of heart. So I definitely recommend this one, and wanted to throw a memory out there, you know, for Johnny Wiles.
Absolutely, man. Well, that sounds pretty awesome, man. Sounds like a really cool game. Oh, look, Valentina says that she played the game and was an absolute joy and tearjerker. Very cool.
Absolutely. Had to throw some love out there for Johnny. And I know there are some sequels to the Moon. I haven't played those yet, but I'm almost like, I don't know. I don't know if my heart's ready for that.
Well, that's all right. Look at that. We got some smash coming in from you, pal Cal. What is up? Thank you for joining us tonight. We're talking about some of our dearly departed video game characters that we loved the most, sharing some stories about their memories and the fun times we had playing with these games as we kind of honor Memorial Day. But right now, you're in for a treat if you're just joining us, because it's time to name that game. That's right. Yeah. We are back at it again. We've got just a couple of more games to throw you guys out. So here's the gist of it. What we're going to do is we're going to throw up a single still image of a video game, and it's up to you, the viewer, to name that game. That's right. As fast as you can, be the first, second, or third person in chat to name the game, and you'll win an allotment of points for each position according to your position. So we've been tallying this up throughout the whole month, and tonight we're throwing out some double points and all for some folks out there under 30 points to try to help get you up into the top echelon up there. So feel free to jump in and try to name the game as fast as you can. Get your thumbs ready, get your keyboards out, because it's time to
name that game.
All right, you guys might recognize this one. Oh, and it's gone.
It's coming. It's coming.
Hold on. Just, oh no, what am I doing?
Don't worry, guys. The thing is that this is one of El Bandito's favorites.
I know, and I had to completely mess it all up. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
No. This is all good.
I just started my slideshow over. Perfect. Okay, hold on.
All right.
Here we go. All right, we'll see if we can get it up on the big screen, although it looks like we've got some pretty decent guesses out there so far. There we go, folks. Sorry about that. Might be Dick Tracy. There's definitely cars involved.
Now, if there ever was a remake of Dick Tracy, it would have to be done like this.
No doubt, man. That would look pretty sharp, wouldn't it?
Now, we're definitely looking for the specific game, you know, like once again, just like earlier with Mega Man, there's a lot of titles.
Yeah, if it has a sub or undertitle, make sure to get that in there as well.
Yep, and you know, like I said, we're throwing it down. How are we looking down there?
It's looking good. I think we got our first, second, and third. Yes,
all right,
sir.
Go ahead and throw it up.
All right, we're talking. Whoa. Again with this slide over here is killing me. Here we go. Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Charboil's got the best seat in the house right now. Carmilla looks like you came in first right there with some GTA Vice City. Dude, J-Dog came in with the whole Grand Theft Auto Vice City, and Mr. Fusion in bits and pieces definitely got to GTA Vice City at the end there. So I think he's going to pull up our third.
You know it, man. And like you said, I know you could talk a lot about this game.
Dude, yes.
I mean, I think as far as you're concerned, this is like the last good.
This is the pinnacle of Grand Theft Auto. This is what it was. Basically retelling the story of Scarface, you know, and adding in a bunch of flavor text to it. As someone who grew up in South Miami, this is a game where everything looked like something I remembered as a kid, you know, from Star Island to South Beach. Everything was captured very, very well. I mean, obviously not to scale, but they all the iconic elements of it, the Art Deco on South Beach, you know, to the millionaire mansions in Star Island. It was just a beautifully put together game. Very action packed. Loved the 80s. Loved the soundtrack. Super, super, super ton of fun. Great kind of campiness to the game that took the seriousness and darkness of Scarface and made it fun and entertaining and playable. And I'll never forget a lot of the classic lines in the game from like the gangsters that would just be walking around and you'd walk by them and the guy's like, yo, I never touched your sister. What are you talking about? You know? Dude,
yeah. And really with GTA 3, you know, the protagonist never talked. So this time you had a
Tommy Vercetti. Remember the name. Ray Liotta, man.
So good, man. So good. I need this. We still reference this, like just in jokes and stuff like that.
My absolute favorite, of course, the music DJ Fernando.
Oh man.
Who would come on the like, what was it? It was like slow,
easy
love
listening.
jams or something, you know? And he would be like, you have to remember, love is like a roller coaster. You pay a lot of money to get tossed around, and before you know it, the ride is over and you're covered in vomit. And if you're under 5'1", they don't even let you get on.
Dude, yeah, it was just so good. Honestly, the soundtrack was so good. Yeah. I know a few folks who bought the
soundtrack. The game was a blast, man. Absolutely. I actually only played this game once, Life Reboot says, and people were making fun of me for stopping at the red lights. That is pretty funny, man.
I think when I first played GTA 3, I did the same thing. Like, you kind of stopped because you're like, that is kind of breaking the law, isn't it? And then once you realize, okay, now
you know, I want to say, I think in Driver, if you ran red lights, the cops would chase you.
I think you're right.
You know, right. I could be way off. That's going back 15 years or so.
Dang, that would have been a good game to throw on Name That Game. That would have been a good, because everyone would have been like, GTA. No, it's Driver. You know? Very cool, man. Very cool.
But yeah, super fun game. Definitely a favorite of mine. Good job, everybody out there who nailed this one. And we're going to move it in with another in memoriam.
Yes, and like I said, man, I didn't even realize when I put this together, we gave Rockstar a lot of love tonight, didn't we?
We did, and it's not stopping yet. We've got another Rockstar game coming on the list out here. We're talking Red Dead Redemption 2, Your Horse.
Now, we get it. On the second side of things, we're being a little more fun with our memories here. And, like, don't get me wrong. If you guys have played Red Dead Redemption 2, there's a lot of characters that die. Yes. And we get that.
Yes.
But one character that died, or one particular person that died in the game that probably hurt me more than anything is when I ran off a cliff and my horse bit the dust. Yep. I'll be honest. I restarted, from a save point. I'm like, no, that ain't happening. But yeah, it's just like, your horse in this game really becomes like your companion.
Yes.
And, when, you're hanging out with it so long and it's helping you out and stuff, like, yeah, you just want, you build that relationship with them.
Yeah.
And like when you just do something stupid, like run into a tree and it kills them. That was a little tough on
it. It's crushing, man. It's absolutely crushing. I know a lot of beautiful people out there have seen me play Outlaws of the Old West, which has a very similar mechanic to it, In Red Dead, you have to like pet your horse and groom it and feed it and all this. It's maybe not to that extent in Outlaws of the Old West. You do have to feed your horse. You do have to take care of it. It does level up with you. The more you ride it, the more it levels, the more you can put points in speed or its longevity, or it doesn't have to drink water as often and things like that. So you build up a pretty good rapport with your horse, and oftentimes it matches the level that you are because you're using it so often. Now, in Outlaws, I have a couple clips on the channel here where you can jump right off of a mountain and fall, 300-400 feet, and your horse would land and he'd be fine. Well, they did eventually patch that. And the last time I logged into the game, I didn't read the patch notes and took old Iris off the top of a cliff and just mushed my horse, man. And that just crushed me. You know, a level 16 horse had been with me since I started the character of Doc Allen West, and it was just devastating to see it go away. And now with the most recent sort of additions to the online components of Red Dead Redemption 2, they're showing these sort of mass graves of poor horses that are, you know, getting killed out there. It's just crazy. It's some sort of weird scenario that's popping up, but I've definitely seen it springing up in the news lately. So, but the sentiment's the same. If you're a cowboy, you're synonymous with your horse.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
And that's just something that we wanted to tip the old hat out there to all the cowboys missing their steed.
Well, like you said, man, it's not just a pet or a tool that they use. That's their buddy. That's with them all the time. They may go into a town, meet a couple people, but then eventually they have to leave. That horse comes with them. So yeah, let's go ahead and extend this one, not just from Red Dead Redemption 2, but also to Outlaws of the Old West. That missing your horse is definitely a major, I gotta throw him some love. I see Life threw down something here. What do we got going on?
He says, I was hoping to see Aggro from Shadow of the Colossus on your list. Same idea. You spend so much time with your horse in the game. It was so upsetting to lose him. He comes back after the credits. No horses were harmed during the making of this game. Well, that's good. But yeah, definitely. It was the same sort of sentiment. So it goes right along.
So definitely we can also add Shadows of the Colossus in there too.
Yes.
Just pretty much, I think this one, all horses.
Yeah, all horses in games.
We're going to do a blanket memorial here.
Me to the horse. I mean, dude, how many horses did you lose in Skyrim?
Oh,
We're just like, I loved that horse. He looked so cool. I paid a lot of money for him.
And whoop.
I put him in the stupid tavern thing and had to pay even more, the stable, and I had to pay even more money. And then my game didn't load right, and he's just gone,
You're like, Bethesda.
They just go with like what is it? Emperor hands some chickens out there. Because I'm angry.
And they got more horse death than Game of Thrones. That first season of Game of Thrones, man, they were killing. Well, not.
What was it? The Battle of the Bastards. They killed just legions of horses in that episode. Man, it's insane.
Oh yeah.
Plus, don't even talk about the Dothraki, man.
Oh yeah.
They go through horses like they're going out of style. But it's time to name some games, guys. We're talking. Name that game. I almost said the name of the game for some reason. I almost just said the name of the game. But we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to show you guys a single still image of a video game, and it's up to you as fast as you can to name that game. That's right.
There it goes.
So if you guys are ready, it's coming at you. It's right here because it's time to
name that game.
Here we go.
Boom. Check this action out.
Man, oh man. Well, we were talking about horses getting into the action, and this particular game
looks like we got all sorts of stuff getting into the action. I dig it, man. Now, I do have to comment on this because I noticed this earlier. What is it about like dinosaurs that people always name them Soren?
Yeah.
Why is that so? You remember like the dinosaur guy in X-Men was named Soren?
You're right. Yeah.
The
Soren. Yeah.
Why is that such a popular dinosaur man name? Is there some legacy behind that I don't know?
Yeah, that's a good point. Because I mean, of course, Soren being like Lord, are you thinking like from like Lord of the Rings, or that's Sauron, right?
Yeah. So I think it's spelled similar.
I think you're right though. I think
he does have sort of a lizardy slit eye. So maybe that's.
But you're right.
Latin for lizard or something.
Yeah, when you go and take the character from X-Men, Pterodactyl, you're right, very similar. You could just have a name like Blizzard, this giant ape over here.
Yeah, but he's like a blue ape, which I like because he's like a Yeti or something. So I dig
that. Man, I see 3 picks down there, man. I think people are rocking and rolling.
They did not waste any time on this one.
Who we got?
J-Dog's like, I loved that game. You eat the people.
That is true. Yeah, you got all these people praising you. Now, I don't think this game actually had like fatalities.
Napalm says you could fart with Blizzard though. So.
That's true. Yep. I think there was like another like ape-like character. Maybe just if you both picked Blizzard, like
I don't know.
he was different colors.
I
but,
hope they had one of those baboons with the red ass. I like
There
those.
you
They're
go.
funny. You know?
Well, let's go ahead and throw the title up there.
All right, guys. It is Primal Rage. You nailed it. 1, 2, 3, 4 Primal Rages down there in chat. Good job, guys. We went with the Six Flags edition.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah, it's like, I couldn't read it. It's some kind of coupon for Six Flags or something.
That's funny. They probably had like some sort of roller coaster tie-in or something.
Yeah.
But man, like this was a game that did take. I mean, it says right there, #1 arcade game of the year. Yeah. This was like, all right, you had Mortal Kombat, you had Street Fighter, you got. I think this was before Killer Instinct. Like this game came out like right in between like Mortal Kombat and Killer Instinct. So it's like, yeah, definitely before Clay Fighter. But yeah, man, you had these giant monsters just attacking each other. There was also another one, like it was called like Time Fighters or something that was pretty brutal. But I don't
Is
remember.
it Eternal Champions?
Well, Eternal Champions was one, but
That
then
game was dope.
that one was killer. Had the fatality.
You had like
this-
a gangster and a
Yep.
dude with like laser eyes, like Cyclops.
The barbarian dude. Yeah, they were all throughout time.
Yeah, you mentioned time, so that's what I was thinking.
The witch guy, or the warlock guy. You know, what I liked about that was the stage fatalities. They were just like killer. But yeah, no, it was Time Crisis or something. You know, there was some game out there that had time fighters in it. But I remember it being like you could chop someone's arm off and stuff. I just don't remember. I don't remember if Primal Rage had fatalities. I know it had blood and you ate people and stuff. But
dude, I look for one, Carmilla coming in awesome here. Save $4 at Six Flags theme park with coupon inside, right? But Mr. Fusion's like, damn it, walk away for 2 minutes and I missed one I would have got right away. Every time.
Every time.
That's what he tells us every time we play a game, that we're just screwing him over with stuff. Carmilla, thank you. Got to stay on top of it, Fusion. That's right, dude.
Well, don't worry. We got one more coming at, and I have a feeling, Mr. Fusion, not to throw out any hints, but I think you might be able to call this next one that we're going to be doing after our final memorial that we're going to be throwing up tonight.
Oh, yeah. Life says Eternal Champions was impossible to finish. The Eternal Champion had like 7 forms, and you only had 2 attempts to beat them all.
Yep.
That's rough, dude. I never made it close to the end of games. I'm like a terrible game player. Anyone who joins me on game night can see I'm like pretty awful, but I love it. It's just fun, you know?
And the Eternal Champion looked cool, too. He had like a robe thing, but he was like a morph man kind of deal.
Yeah.
Like he was all,
I wouldn't even know. Never seen it. But this is why I wish we were friends when we were kids.
Yeah.
Because I would have gotten to see all this cool stuff. But instead, I guess I just hung out with a lot of other people that stunk at games.
Well, hey, man, we can always power them up now and see how far we could go. We'll probably get our handed to us.
Yeah. Well, we got to get that RetroCon out here on game night one night. That'll be fun. We'll have to do that over the summer.
We will
like
do
a
it.
4th of July bash or something.
Woo!
You never know. We'll keep you posted out there.
All right, so we're going to do another. We got one more.
We do. Our very last.
Yes.
Very last remembrance of the night on this Memorial Day. I want to thank all you beautiful people for joining us here. And last but not least, one video game that we know had an impact on pretty much everyone out there. Probably most recently, Life Reboot than anyone.
Yes. Hopefully we're not spoiling anything for Life here. But yes, no, definitely, Aerith, Final Fantasy VII, 1997. I mean, you're sitting there, you're rocking out the game, you're having a good time, leveling up your characters like you should in Final Fantasy, and man,
you said that, and now I feel terrible. I'm pretty sure Life finished this game, but I have this shadow of doubt now that you said that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope we did not just completely spoil this for you. I feel like such an ass.
Well, unfortunately, the 23 years on that one, I have a feeling maybe Life may have at least heard.
Well, he was like just playing this, I think, for the first time on his stream. Was that your first time playing through that, Life? It wasn't, right? Because you were doing some special challenge thing. I'm not that familiar with the game, so I'm sorry, but
look, he says right there,
literally hundreds of hours. Okay, I'm good. Okay, cool, man.
Got us a little worried there for just a second. We're like, oh,
man. Because like I said, I was like, no, he was doing like a challenge playthrough, but that shadow of doubt hit me, and I was like, oh, I feel so bad.
I love Life's response right there. Just use a Phoenix down, like it works for everybody else.
Fine, just poof.
But yeah, like Sephiroth coming down and just pretty much impaling from behind freaking Aerith on his sword. Like that was just, Yeah, when you saw that go down in the game, like you said, you figured that some point in the story, Aerith was going to return or you resurrect or something. Yeah. And we all know that, of course, by the end, there's kind of like a little hint of that, but not, you never see the character come back with all your stuff that you gave
Yes,
her.
that was what I was going to say. Like anything they were holding, poof, was gone.
Now,
but Invalid Name says, what? She dies? No!
no.
Followed up by just 100, so it sounds like an avid gamer yourself. Invalid Name, thank you for joining us tonight.
And man, even if you knew this was coming, the scene itself is just it's like you said, you're just like no, and she was one of those characters that was always talking about peace and stuff. So it's just like no, what a victim of this crazy battle that's going on. But the director of the game actually had recently lost his mother, and this was his way of sharing the pain that he was going through. Like he felt that, like it was a way for him to release that, but also in the same time be like, hey, this is how I can express that. So I mean,
help other people learn how to deal with that sort of thing so they don't get blindsided by themselves,
It's just, to me, I think a lot of times nowadays, especially with stories, like it seems like, it's almost like, oh, just kill the one they care about because that's what's cool to do now. But no, this was like this guy's way of saying, hey, here's a character that's pretty innocent, pretty much, one that you want to stick around to the very end. I know I used a lot, before she got iced, and then, it was a tough one. So we saved this one for last. I honestly thought it was going to pop up sooner in the comments. I thought maybe someone was going to be like, Aerith, but like, or whatever you decided to name her in the game. Of course, this was back when you could call her, the mom. But it was Final Fantasy VII's a great game.
And again, if you guys have anyone, like that's our list, if you guys have anyone that you think deserves a shout out here on Memorial Day, a fallen video game character that you want to recognize tonight, like Life Reboot just did, feel free to throw it down in the chat, and we'd love to hear about it. We'd love to read it. So Life says, nice list, guys. I'd say Ares from Final Fantasy VII, Aggro the horse from Shadow of the Colossus, your companion cube in Portal, the baby Metroid who saves you in Super Metroid, and from what I hear, Yoshi. Whenever you hopped off him and let him fall into a pit in Super Mario World. I've never played Super Mario World yet. So that's right, guys.
Man,
you got to check out Life Reboot. Fantastic streamer. He's down there in our Legion of Love list at the bottom of our dashboard. But let's go ahead and give him a little bit of a shout-out down here so you can find his page nice and easy. Amazing retro gamer who plays a lot of retro games for the first time because back in the day, he was busy mastering Donkey Kong. Yes, is one of the world-ranked Donkey Kong players at one time, placing 4th in the entire world. So definitely worth checking out his channel if you guys want to see some serious gaming. Definitely pretty much everyone in chat tonight is someone that you want to check out at some point if you're a gamer. They're all amazing, fantastic streamers. Most of them listed, like I said, down on our dashboard in our Legionnaires list and Legionnaires that we love. So thank you, beautiful people, for joining us tonight. Johnny November coming in, the master of seas, the man with a plan, the legend of Twitch Airways, the one and only Power Hour of Love. Thank you so much, Johnny.
I gotta say, man, Life's probably like, well, I guess I can go play Super Mario World now that you guys spoiled Final Fantasy VII for it. No, but no, that was really cool. We thought this would be a fun way to bring up some older games. Which, I mean, even looking back at the list, we kind of stuck to games that were very recent. Final Fantasy being the latest, but honestly, I can't really think of a game earlier where certain characters died that had a strong lasting effect. I'm sure someone's going to throw something out from the original Nintendo. Remember when that little girl
Well, Mr. Fusion says Nabooru from Ocarina of Time. He's saying was a loss that was pretty. I had not played that game.
He'll have to elaborate a little more with me on that one because I'm that's not really ringing a bell, but I'm sure it's something that I'm just forgetting at this moment.
Yeah. I can't remember there being very many impactful video game deaths from earlier games, like you said.
Yeah.
But I do know that some of the games that struck me was like when Ghost gets killed in Modern Warfare 2, Call of Duty. You're spending a lot of time with this character. He's basically training you. He's like a super cool dude. And like there's a traitor among you and he just walks out and smokes Ghost right in front of you. There's nothing you can do. And you just lost this amazing character right there in the game with you. That might have been Modern Warfare 3. It was either 2 or 3.
Definitely. I see Mr. Fusion's down there saying the Desert Temple in Ochre. Once again, man, we're going to have to talk offline about that. Like, me, man.
Yes. I'm sorry.
Oh no, who's that? Who's
No, Carmilla's talking about Soap, which I believe is the other Call of Duty character. I think that's the one that we lose in 3, and I think 2 Ghost Eyes. Is that right? I could be getting this all mixed up. I'm just trying to pull this out of my head. Modern Warfare 3 Soap dies. Modern Warfare 2 Ghost dies. Yes, Carmilla, cool. I only played the campaign once, and then you play 10,000 hours of the multiplayer, so it's hard to remember sometimes.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Okay, Mr. Fusion, I can elaborate on that one. Yes, Uncle from A Link to the Past. I mean, pretty much within the first 5 minutes of the game, Link loses his uncle, but he gains an awesome sword, which I think, like, it's kind of funny. His uncle dies, and he's just like, doo-doo-doo-doo, like he's all excited about it. It's kind of like, hey, Uncle, sorry, I got a sword.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, but I'm all right. Game goes on. The pain you hear in Price's voice is haunting. Yes. No, that's right, man.
That's so cool.
Yeah, a lot of great stories there, a lot of good stuff. Mr. Fusion says Ghost survived Game of Thrones, though. Different Ghost, but sure.
The little things.
It is. It's the little things that count. But yeah, so many great memories, so many iconic characters. Like we said, a lot of Wolfenstein had a lot of choices back and forth, a lot of characters dying these great memorable deaths in that game because they took what was a first-person shooter and really developed it into resistance.
Yes.
You know, and that game was all about resistance. So besides the intro of the game, you remember there's that 3/4 point where that extra person you meet in one timeline or the other, one's Jimi Hendrix and the other is that like mathematician girl. They each bite the dust as well, depending on how the story plays out. And it's very powerful. I mean, every death in that game is so powerful.
You're
considering it's a first-person shooter, it's amazing. And considering at the end of it, they even left you believing that one of the main characters was dead. That returns in Wolfenstein 2. And I was like, that is amazing. So again, trying not to spoil anything there because that's a game I don't want spoiled for me because I haven't played Wolfenstein 2, the finish of it yet. But the first Wolfenstein game had so many twists and turns along the way and so many impactful, like resistance, revolutionary, standing up to oppression deaths that game I think meant more to me seeing those characters go out than many other games I've played.
No, that's a great one that definitely deserved to be on this list tonight. And definitely, you guys continue to throw down some in the comments if there's someone we missed or someone that we just have not on purpose forgot about, but just that we could be here all night talking about great games and great characters and ones especially that have passed on. But why don't we go ahead to get into the final round?
You got it, man. We've got everybody thinking about games right now. So we've got one last Name That Game. Now that you've got all your synapses triggering and firing down there and all these different memories and all these different games, hopefully you'll be able to pull out a nice, quick answer on this one. Last but not least, right, I just want to hit a couple of these comments.
Sure.
Carmilla said, did you hear there's a new Modern Warfare game coming? I did not. I haven't played Black Ops 4 because I didn't like 2, so... like 3 was okay, but I didn't get 4 because I didn't like 2 and I didn't think 3 redeemed itself much. But Modern Warfare might be pretty cool to check out because they haven't had one of those since 3. So a Modern Warfare 4 might be really cool because they did Ghosts instead.
Gotcha.
So it wasn't technically that. And then they did Infinite Warfare and the Back to World War II one.
That's right. Right.
So another Modern Warfare one might be really, really cool. But life down here, I love this. I'd also like to honor my fallen comrades, all the dead batteries, my dad's pocketbook, all the batteries from my Game Boy and Game Gear, which was effectively unplayable without an AC adapter.
Wow.
No, very true.
You know it, man.
Yes.
You know, back in those days, popping those. Yeah.
Yeah, not for nothing. Every Wii remote that you had to pump batteries into like crazy.
Oh, man.
Those 360 controllers that would just suck down batteries, man. I mean, you tried to get those rechargeable batteries at some point for all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But, man, they will eat up some batteries.
There was a lot of fallen batteries.
I think there's a lot of respect we can put out there for every joystick that lost its ways
its
and your
joy.
cursor would just drift off to the side. I think a lot of people have that one on old thumbsticks, man.
You know it, man. No, lots of good stuff. But in all this memories, we got some fun coming at you.
We do. We've got the very last Name That Game. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to show a single still image of a video game. It's up to you to name it as fast as you can. Points for first, second, and third place. You got games on the brain. We've had a wonderful Memorial Day night thinking back to these classic, amazing games. So now it's time to...
Name that game.
Here we go.
Bam.
Bring it up for big for these guys.
Can you tell us what it is? Now, again, I'd like to give a shout-out to Sam. You can check him out over here at Samio1000. He made that amazing clip for us there of the Name That Game. Amazing bass guitarist who plays live on stream Rocksmith and also plays some fun video games. Usually he's on Mondays and Fridays, guys. Get over there, show him some love, throw him a follow, let him know the Power Hour Love sent you.
Oh, man. Well, this is definitely part of a series. We've had a couple series tonight, and we definitely need the exact game.
It looks like we've got more than enough of the
is it filling in?
It's going in there. It looks like we got Mr. Fusion, Life Reboot, and Carmilla, 1, 2, and 3.
Woo, man.
And I'm sorry, J-Dog, and anyone else who may be having a hard time on phones, that it might be a little slow. We can't really help that, but we do, like we said, giving double points out tonight and stuff like that, try to help people catch up if they've been struggling with that. But, guys, amazing job. You nailed it. Metroid Fusion for the Game Boy Advance.
And I got to say, man, this game was so good. It came out after, the Metroid Primes and stuff were on, the... GameCube. I had to think for a second. What the heck was that name of that one system that Nintendo put out between the Wii and on the GameCube. But man, these were so great because they went back and they had the feel of the original Metroids and especially Super Metroid. And it had a really cool story. Actually, this is the last game in the Metroid series. As far as chronologically it goes. So it's kind of cool to see where the story went after a Super Metroid, and of course, like Life had mentioned, Samus dealing with essentially losing a baby in the sense of the young Metroid that she lost in Super Metroid. They did actually go and they made a remake of the first Metroid game in the same fashion called Zero Mission, and I loved that as well. So I was a big fan of the Game Boy Advance games, but here's how I played them. They made this little console accessory that you could attach to the bottom of the GameCube that let you play Game Boy Advance games on your TV, and I was like, yes, that's exactly how I want to play them. I don't want to sit there and try to look at a small screen. I want them on my big screen, so that's how I essentially played through this game. Awesome title.
Absolutely, guys. Good picks out there. Way to nail in, coming hot with the very last Name That Game. Again, we'll be tallying up all the points, rechecking the VODs, making sure we give everyone credit where it's due, and adding points up appropriately. We'll let you guys know at the beginning of the show next week who the winners are, and we'll be giving out some of the amazing Amazon gift cards that we have for all the first, second, and third places. And as soon as we can, we'll be debuting our Name That Game trophy that will have the first place winner's name etched into it from both this year, last year, and the year before, so all 3 years, and we'll continue that on from then on. That it's probably going to take a few months, maybe a month or two to come in.
It will take some time, but it'll be worth it. It'll be very cool. We'll have a cool unveiling ceremony. But man, I see Life Reboot's comment down there. We do Name That Game tournament every May. That's kind of always been the month. But who knows? Maybe we might be able to throw in a part 2 or something, but we'd love to get some
a fall edition or something.
Yeah, we'd love to get some suggestions from your life, so we'll have to chat offline about that.
Absolutely, man. Carmilla's calling Life on first place, man. Just might be. We'll have to see. Again, we'll let you guys know next week. Next week, we're going to be doing something a little special. It's kicking off June. June is actually National Candy Month. So one thing we like to do every June is Senior Boyle and I kind of have a little contest between one another where we go out and each try to find the most obscure, bizarre candy known to man that we can possibly get our hands on and have each other eat it for the first time live on air without knowing any idea of what it is. So it's kind of fun if you like people eating some mystery food and having some fun, having some weird candy that actually some of it turned out to be pretty awesome last year.
I know, we found some of our new favorites, actually.
Yeah, I didn't know what a nut roll was, and it was kind of dirty, and I liked it.
Exactly,
I
man.
liked having a nut roll in my mouth. So.
But yeah, we're gonna have some real fun stuff. I'm sure we'll be talking about some of the great things that are coming at us in June. Like we said, big E3 month coming towards us. So I'm sure we'll be talking a little bit about that, some upcoming games, and just a lot of great stuff as we kick off summer. But that was a lot of fun last year, so we're hoping that you guys will enjoy it again this year.
Absolutely, guys. So make sure to come back and join us next Monday night for that. And this Wednesday night, 9 p.m., we'll be having some game night, having some fun out there, playing some games. We might be playing something new this week.
Ooh.
We've played Sea of Thieves for the past few weeks. Absolutely love the game. Big thanks to Johnny November, who stopped by earlier, part of my crew. Big thanks to J-Dog out there, part of the old crew there hanging with me, playing some Sea of Thieves, but we might be getting into something a little different this week. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I've got my eye on a couple of fun games. So we hope if you guys have the opportunity, you can come by and join us then. If not, we'll see you next Monday night at 9 p.m. We're going to raid an amazing, fantastic, fun streamer out there and spread some love around, so we invite you guys to stick around for a fun little raid. But otherwise, we will catch you guys next time.
Oh yeah, man. Who's floating around out there with us tonight? Who are we going
around?
to?
Let's see.
Oh man, it looks like some people are really hanging here on this Memorial Day evening.
We got a lot of people out here streaming and having some fun, but I think I'd like to go check out 7 Days to Die, which is a game I've been trying to check out, from Luminaria Rain, who's an awesome streamer and an actress who has been an extra in Alita Battle Angel. Which I thought was pretty baller.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
I was talking to her about it, and she said she actually got digitized and duplicated in several scenes to fill out a crowd.
Awesome.
So really cool. Guys, we're going to head over there. Make sure to let her know the Power Hour Love sent you. Show her some love. If you got a little bit of love from being one of our fantastic subscribers out there, make sure to spread it just a little bit. And again, we'll see you guys next week. DJ Napalm, thanks for hanging with us. It should be just a cube instead of the whole picture to make it a little harder. Next year, we're just going to show 1 pixel. 1 pixel from a game, and you have to get what it is.
Zooms out. That might be kind of cool.
All right, guys. We'll catch you next week. Stick around for the raid. Should be fun.
Yeah.